Now, here's your host, Bill Teegins.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Eddie Sutton Show. The Cowboys finally get a break and come back home. It seems like we've been gone forever.
It's going to be great to be back in Gallagher-Iba Arena, and we play the University of Colorado Saturday afternoon, and I think our players feel the same way the coaches do, in that it does seem like we've been on the road a long while. You know, we went up to Lawrence the other night and took on what I consider to be one of the two or three best teams in college basketball. And we did something that we don't do very often. We played zone for 40 minutes. And if they had not shot the ball as well as they did, we had a chance. But they went 13 for 23 from three-point the area. And the reason we played zone was because we felt like we had to defend inside, and normally Kansas doesn't shoot that well. Boy, they did the other night. They would have really beaten anybody the other night, I think, in college basketball, and they might have given the Chicago Bulls a run for the money.
Well, Pierce certainly hit some big ones out there. You know, it's really important, I think, for Cowboy fans to realize that this Colorado game is very important. It's at home. It's at Gallagher-Iba on Saturday. If you ever needed some help from the sixth man, that would be it.
I would hope any of our students that are watching that they'll get out there in mass Saturday afternoon. And, you know, Colorado's never beaten us here since I came back to Oklahoma State, but they have a very fine basketball team. They've got a young man by the name of Chauncey Billups, who we tried to recruit, and he's one of the top freshmen in the conference. I would say that he, along with maybe Pierce at Kansas and Adrian Peterson on our ball club, maybe are the three best freshmen coming into the Big Eight this year.
Boy, Adrian had a great game against Kansas. We're going to take a look at how the Cowboys and the Jayhawks went at it in Lawrence, Kansas. That's coming up next on the Eddie Sutton Show. Welcome back to the Eddie Sutton Show. The Cowboys traveling north to Lawrence, Kansas. What a great place that is to play basketball, especially if you're for Kansas, I guess.
The two toughest places, I think, for opposing teams to win probably would be Allen Fieldhouse and our place. You know, we've only lost 6 games, and 2 of them this year in a 6-year period. So our place is tough for the opposing team to win, but boy, Allen Fieldhouse is special.
Well, people really get into it. You guys came out early in the game. In the first 5 or 6 minutes, I thought played very well.
Well, you know, with almost 10 minutes gone in the game, it was basically an even game, and then we kind of had some defensive mistakes, and then we probably didn't have good judgment offensively and shot the ball a little quick at times. But Kansas is good, and like I said earlier, the other night, when they have those 3-point shots going down like they did, well, they're tough to beat.
There's Chad from outside hitting the tray early in the ballgame. Keontae Roberts operating at point guard again.
Keontae played well. You know, he had a double-double. He had 10 points in the first half, and then in the second half he didn't score, but he had 10 rebounds. And I thought he played very well.
Got into a little bit of foul trouble, too.
The guy that really played well is Adrian Peterson. Adrian started off slow, but he ended up, I think he scored 20 points in the last 18 minutes of the ball game. He ended up with 27 points, which is a high for him since he came to Oklahoma State, but he's really a good basketball player.
Talk about the outside power. Here's Pearson, a guy who used to start for him, comes off the bench now. They're so deep. Cowboys do a nice job.
Well, what they do to you, their starting ball club all averages in double figures, but then they bring in, another 5, and they kind of wear you down. Then when the first team comes back in, here's a play right here that I got a technical foul, and we can't really comment on officiating, but there should have been a call right here. That's either a charge or a block, and it's a no call, and they end up hitting a 3-point play. And then also on that play right there, Jerome was called for his 3rd foul, so it ended up being a 7-point turnaround, and that didn't help us any.
Talk about Mo Robinson. He didn't make the trip. When is he going to be able to play?
Well, we hope that he can play in the Colorado game Saturday. He's been working out with us, and boy, that'll be a plus when he comes back.
Just to get another body in there, too.
Yeah, our front line is so thin right now, Bill, and I think that'll be something to really help our ball club. This ball club, it's the month of February, and we didn't do very well in January, but as I told the team, there's not a game left on the schedule that we can't win. And so I hope that we'll start out Saturday with a win over Colorado, and then we go down to Norman on Monday and play the Sooners. So, if we can just get some momentum going in our favor, we'll be all right.
What do you tell the guys at halftime? You're looking for somebody to come out and play strong, and obviously you did that with Peterson, but what are you telling the team at halftime?
Well, we told them that, in the last 5 minutes of the first half, we committed 5 turnovers, and all of them ended up, in a situation where they got baskets off of them. Right. So I said, we got to minimize our turnovers, which we did. In the second half, we had 12 the first half, 5 the second half. And I also told them that we just had to continue to do a good job on the boards. We out-rebounded them. I thought defensive board play would be important. I thought transition defense would be important. We did well there. They just shot the ball. Yeah. When you look at statistics and they go 13 for 23, let's just assume that they shoot what they've been shooting from three-point range, and they hit 6 or 7. Well, then all of a sudden it's an 18-point difference. Right. And I really felt like that Kansas played very well, and in order for us to beat Kansas in Lawrence, Kansas, we had to play almost a perfect game, and we didn't.
Let's take a look at that second half. And again, Adrian Peterson, only a freshman. Boy, what an outstanding. Reminded you a little bit of Randy Rutherford a year ago.
Look at that play right there. Vaughn hit a basket a little earlier in the game on a reverse layup, and Adrian came back and hit that shot.
That's a pretty big-time move, too, as he just took it right to the hoop.
Early in the year, Adrian was putting the ball on the floor and attacking the basket, and then he got in a period where he didn't do that, and now he's back doing that again, and he just, he's a terrific shooter. Watch this. Great shot off the glass. You mentioned Rutherford. Randy has really helped us in our practice sessions, but Adrian's got that ability to be a Randy Rutherford. There's a good
great hustle.
Shot the ball, followed his shot, put it back in. That's something the young players got to understand. You follow your shot if you're not responsible for defensive balance.
Seems like a very polite young man, too.
Oh, he's a wonderful young man. Great parents. He lived just north of Little Rock, and he's going to be an outstanding basketball player for us.
Only a freshman. Nice.
We got some players coming just like him too.
That's good news, isn't it?
Our recruiting class, all of them are really playing well, and we might, if we have time, we might talk about that. There's RW on a great driving basket.
Look at left-handed. I know that was impressive. He did that a couple of times. Boy, what a great shot.
I tell you what, Tom Dorado does a great job in editing these films.
You won this one by 15, Coach.
RW continues to get better. I just think that as he learns more what we're trying to do, he's going to really help us down the stretch.
He's a jet, isn't he? Boy, look at his turns and fires. That's Peterson again. 27 points for him.
There's RW dunking.
That's pretty good.
I think he surprised everybody in Allen Fieldhouse when he went in there and dunked that ball on that breakaway.
Adrian, I assume, is getting more and more confident. You talked about his kind of slump there for a while. Is he feeling pretty good? I mean, I would think a game like this, he's played his best against the best competition.
Well, I think he's playing with a lot of confidence. And one thing, if you don't ever like to point to things when you lose that are positive, but we talk about Adrian, and he was outstanding. But we also got our 2 walk-ons.
Yeah.
They got to each score a basket. And I told Billy and Tommy, I said, you can tell your great-grandchildren you scored a basket in Allen Fieldhouse against the Jayhawks. You don't need to tell them who won the game.
That's a great way to look at it. There's a lot more to some of the Oklahoma State Cowboys besides basketball. When we come back, we'll take a look at that when the Eddie Sutton Show continues. Welcome back to the Eddie Sutton Show. When we talk about student athletes, we a lot of times focus on the athlete part, but that's not the case for Jason Skaer, the sophomore forward for the Oklahoma State Cowboys. Tom Dorado takes an up-close and personal look at Jason in our off-the-court feature this week.
The last time we visited with Jason Skaer, we told you all about his background in music, especially when it came to playing the piano. Well, since then, Jason's been to the Final Four, maintained his love for music, and has solidified his quest for the most prestigious scholarship in the world, a Rhodes Scholarship. To become a Rhodes Scholar, Jason, that would indeed put you in select company. 32 Americans a year are chosen to a 2-year study at England's Oxford University.
Definitely. I mean, that's prestigious company, as you said. guys like Senator Bill Bradley, Bill Clinton, President Boren out at OU. I mean, those are all guys who are looked up to in society, and I would like to be one of those someday.
As I understand it now, only seniors are chosen, and all the work and the positioning obviously has to start years in advance. Has it begun for you as yet?
I guess it's begun for me already. You know, when you're a senior, that's when the actual process starts with all the interviews and such, but you have to be prepared before you get into those interview sessions, and there's some people here that are going to help me do that with a reading program and going through mock interviews like you would go through, but the real deal starts when you're a senior, but there's many things you have to do before that.
Has your course load taken on a different look because of this?
I guess you could say that. I'm taking a music appreciation course right now. I took a theater class last semester. They want you to have a more well-rounded school program, not so much in just your major, but your electives are very important as far as what they look at.
I guess you're almost putting together an academic resume, if you will, that will look good when the candidates are chosen.
Right. That your academic course load is very important. They want to see that you've covered a lot of areas, such as music and theater, a lot of the arts, and cover some social. I took a philosophy class last semester also, so those sorts of classes help you out a lot when you get to the real process your senior year.
What do you know about a Rhodes Scholarship as it pertains to candidates here at Oklahoma State?
As I understand it, I would be the first one ever to get a Rhodes Scholarship because no one here has ever gotten one. There's been a few that have tried to get one but haven't progressed far enough. I mean, they've gotten through the preliminary stages but never got over the hump of the actual receiving a Rhodes Scholarship. So I'd feel very honored to be the first one here at Oklahoma State.
I guess we shattered the image the last time we visited off the court about an athlete, a good athlete not being able to play the piano. A good athlete now can excel in the classroom. So much for those age-old, time-worn cliches.
Yeah, I guess that's long gone and out the window. My parents impressed upon me at a young age that academics and other things are important. I've always excelled at basketball, but my parents have made sure that I stick to other areas in my life as well.
You're a fierce competitor on the court. We've all seen that. Obviously, you compete just as hard in the classroom.
Definitely. I mean, that all goes back to my parents again. They instilled upon me at a very young age that academics were important, and you can't have a basketball in your hands all your life. So I definitely work hard in the classroom.
What is your major right now?
I'm majoring in psychology right now. Looking to become maybe a lawyer or something along that line.
That might enable you to be a coach someday, to be a major in psychology.
I don't think I have any aspirations of being a coach right now.
I would think if you decided to take that up, though, you would be able to understand all your players a little bit better, wouldn't you?
Yeah, we have some characters on this team that a psychology major might help figure out, but that coaching isn't something that I'm looking forward to in the future.
Let's turn our attention now to basketball. You've made the adjustment to a full-time starter. You were coming off the bench last year as a freshman. You are the only Cowboy to start all 17 games thus far. That's quite a tribute to you.
Well, definitely. I mean, last year, as you said, I came off the bench and tried to provide a spark for the team, and now this year I've started in every game and haven't been as consistent as I wanted to, but I've been out there every night trying as hard as I can, and things haven't gone as well as we'd want them to, but we just got to keep fighting.
We've visited about this several times on the radio. You've had some tough stretches, you personally, and that you kind of beat yourself up more so than you should because you are, I guess, your expectation level is a little bit higher.
Right. Sometimes I forget how young I am. I'm just a sophomore, and this is my first real year of college basketball. Last year I came off the bench, but this year a lot of pressure has been put upon myself, and I put a lot of pressures on myself. And like you said, I beat myself up a lot, maybe more than I should, and sometimes that might affect my performance.
The team itself going through a very tough stretch, but no one out there has quit, and obviously there's no quit in your nature.
Yeah, there's no quitting us. I mean, we're out there every day working hard, plugging hard in practice. Coaches haven't given up on us, and we haven't given up on ourselves, and I don't think the fans have either. So we'll just keep on fighting, and hopefully good things will happen.
Well, Jason, thanks again for the visit. Good luck to you on your journey to Oxford.
Thank you, TD.
I could take a whole team of Jason Skaer's. I tell you what, he epitomizes what every coach looks for in a student athlete. Great student, outstanding basketball player, and I hope that he'll get that opportunity to be a Rhodes Scholar because I think he is the type of person that fits the bill.
Amazing. One of 32 if he gets it. That's great. Busy week ahead for the Cowboys. When we come back on the Eddie Sutton Show, we'll take a look at the schedule ahead. Welcome back to the Eddie Sutton Show. As we talked about earlier in the program, huge game coming up Saturday. You've got Colorado, then Monday, Big Monday in Oklahoma and Norman.
Well, you know, the game with Colorado is really important because we haven't won a conference game yet, and the Buffalo scored 106 points this past week against Missouri, and they won their first conference game. Very explosive ball club. Got a great freshman in Billups, a young man we try to recruit. And, of course, as you mentioned, the Oklahoma game is always special, and we go down there and play them on Monday night. Kansas State plays at Kansas. And I guess K-State and Iowa State are the two surprise teams in the Big Eight at this point. I don't believe the Wildcats can beat the Jayhawks in Lawrence, so I don't think they've won over Kansas in a long time. I don't know what their record is against them, but it's been a long time in getting a victory. Colorado goes to K-State later in the week. Nebraska's at Missouri. Iowa State's at Kansas.
So you have games on, again, Saturday and Monday off the rest
well,
of the week.
You know, Oklahoma, we talk about surprise teams. You know, Iowa State and K-State are pleasant surprises for their schools. And I guess Missouri and Oklahoma are the two schools that were picked high, and they've kind of struggled. Missouri the other night got beat out in Boulder. They're just, for some reason, the chemistry's not right. But it looks like to me Oklahoma won a big game in Austin the other night, and I think that Oklahoma is a team that has the weapons because they got the best player in the league in Minor, and Erdman is starting to play a lot better. Foster is an outstanding point guard for them, and Abercrombie, he's one of my favorites.
He's amazing, isn't he?
He's a warrior, and I really believe Oklahoma is after their win over Texas, probably. They've gained confidence now, and I think that they'll be a team that it's going to be hard to, be beaten here the rest of the way. But when Oklahoma State and Oklahoma play, anything can happen.
Never know, do you? You know, when we were watching that Jason Skaer piece, that ring he had on, that Final Four ring, that's a pretty special deal.
That brings back pleasant memories. 27-10, Final Four, second place in the Big Eight last year, won the tournament. And, of course, all of the people that were a part of that got one of those rings, and that'll be something that they can tell their grandchildren about.
Cherish forever. You know, we got a couple of minutes. Let's talk about some things that we haven't hit on this year. Bryant Reeves, one of your former players, he's just come alive over the last couple of months in the NBA at Vancouver.
He's probably been averaged in the last month maybe 14, 15 points and 8 or 9 rebounds, and he really has played well. And I'm really excited and proud that he's playing that way. I think the fact that he didn't play well early was an adjustment going from college to the NBA, but also they didn't get to work out over the summertime because of the lockout, and I think that he reported maybe in not the best condition, and now he looks like he's really trimmed up, and he's out there, and I know he's having a lot of fun.
Gee, people in Vancouver are actually getting their hair cut like country. Who would have ever thought that?
Well, the other day they had a contest, I guess, and it showed Bryant was cutting somebody's hair.
It's amazing. What about in the national scene? Who are the best teams?
Kentucky's the best team.
Kentucky,
day in and day out's the best team. But then you look at Kansas, Mass, Connecticut, Cincinnati, all good ball clubs. And one of my former assistants down at Texas Tech, he's doing great. You know, that's Randall Dickey's brother, James, who was my assistant for 8 years. Texas Tech is 17-1, but they had a hard time the other night with one of my other former assistants, Bill Selford, ORU. And, you know, ORU is really, they could have won a couple of games. They lose by 1 point to the Razorbacks in Fayetteville, and they lose by 4 to Texas Tech. So they've really come around. And, you know, that's like OSU alumni over there. You got Barry Henson, you got Mike Carter, you got Steve Anthony, and my son Scott.
Well, he's really done a great job. Coach, best of luck to you on Saturday against Colorado. Again, Cowboy fans, be out there 12:45, and then Monday, Big Monday at Oklahoma. For Coach Sutton, I'm Bill Teegins. See you next week on the Eddie Sutton Show.